This show of Uganda at Crossroads. We are coming to you live from the beautiful and amazing city of Massachusetts, or state of Massachusetts, here in Boston. But exactly to be exact, we are in Waltham. And we are grateful from wherever you are tuned in. If you're just joining in for the very first time, this is Uganda at Crossroads. And we've been talking about, before we go to this year, we're talking about the future, or what is going to happen in our elections, and then now the election is done. Now we are looking at the bigger picture, the broader picture of the future of our country, Uganda. Remember, we all have a role to play in the well-being of our nation, in our being of our country. So you may not be actively in the country, but you can pray for your nation. You can go on a fast for your country to see what you want to see in the countries where you are living. So my name is Moses Mukitale, and as always, I have an amazing team with me in the studios here. We have the spokesperson of the National Resistance Movement Party here in Boston, and I also have Sarah Joy, who is from the National Unity Platform, and we're going to be talking about, so many issues. A couple of issues we're going to be discussing about. For example, the petition was withdrawn. Finally, Mr. Robert Chagwan's petition was withdrawn from the courts of law. So we're going to look at what next. What next? Are we going to be looking at the ICC indictment? Are we maybe thinking about civil disobedience? What is next? We're going to be looking at Mudeveni's swearing ceremony, which is just a month away, I think. So we're going to be looking at hearing from what the NRM is planning in Boston and also in Uganda, maybe. Plus, looking at the kidnaps, the number of people kidnapped this week. We had the government coming out officially, and they spoke. And the government said that out of the 680 names that the National Unity Platform gave to the parliament and said these are the names and the number for missing, only 71 appeared on the government list, the list of the people that the government released yesterday. The government list has only 177 people, whereas the NUP's list has 680 names. So we're going to be looking at that and to try and see, who is saying what and what is not coming out clear. And then we shall also look at the protest. There's a protest going on here in the city of Waltham. The Uganda community is protesting. So Sarah will be telling us more about that. But without any further ado, I want to give a chance to our people in the studio to introduce themselves. I'll start with you, Mr. Mukasa. Yep. I know you don't trust us. You have your mask, but I believe there is some social distancing. So some people may want to see your face.
But that's my face.
All right, Mr. Mukasa, you may introduce yourself and tell us your role
Yeah, my name is Richard Mukasa. Yesterday I was with NRM chairman, Mr. Kamia, and he told me to say hi to guys and our supporters out there, the NRM members. We wish you a very nice weekend. Thank you.
Where is Mr. Kamia? He never comes to visit us.
Mr. Kamia's schedule is kind of busy. The way his job is a government job, and he does it mostly at the time when we're working. And he said he's going to squeeze time and come over one of these days.
But I mean, you should tell him to come and pay us a visit. We want to hear from...
He will.
To hear from, what all of you are planning in the hierarchy of the NRM, to know what activities are coming up. But it's a pleasure having you, Mr. Mukasa, and we don't take it for granted that you squeeze some time to come and speak to Ugandans out there who want to know what's happening and what's coming from the National Resistance Movement. Sarah Joy, it's always a pleasure as well to have you. So introduce yourself to our viewers.
Good afternoon, our viewers from the East, West Coast, people watching us from all over the world, back home in Uganda. And good afternoon to everyone.
Okay. It's a pleasure having you here. And straight away, I want to start with you, Mr. Mukasa. You were talking before the show and you're telling me you are in high gear for the swearing-in ceremony of Mr. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who was declared the winner of the recently concluded presidential polls in Uganda. So what's happening? What are the plans for the ceremony here in Boston? What are you people planning to do?
Yeah, I plan to be at the main function now.
Oh, in Kampala? Oh, you're traveling to Kampala?
Yeah, okay. I will travel when the time comes.
But when is the ceremony itself?
So on the 21st of May.
21st of May. Oh, 21st of May. And do you have any activities that will happen in Boston? I mean,
in Boston, kind of because of the COVID issues, unless there's a let-up in the disease. But as of now, we will be on our Zoom, on our platforms. We'll be talking.
But do you have any worries that something might happen between now and then?
No, because one thing is for sure, we've held that country for 35 years, and everybody knows we defeated over 40 guerrilla groups. So anybody who wants to do clandestine work is in for a surprise. Anybody who wants to do political work, I only encourage them to continue politicking, because if you do politics, it's not a crime. That's what the kind of democracy we brought. Okay, there are excesses on both sides. Sometimes the police overreacts, sometimes the public overreacts, but I expect the police will behave better. Yeah, but basically I feel like I don't think anything can happen, because what was supposed to happen was right after that election, maybe after the petition, but everything is, it's like a whimper.
I mean, when you say what was supposed to happen, what did you envision to happen?
Yeah, we had of plan B and plan B, plan A, all those things. So we were prepared for it. So we were very well prepared for it. So they kind of brought in this kind of kidnap. Those kidnaps are arrests, because if you are kidnapped, somebody kidnapped, you don't know their whereabouts. But if you know that he's with police, or you know where he is, you cannot say he was kidnapped. Somebody kidnapped, you cannot say, I was kidnapped when we know where you are. Okay? You can only be kidnapped when we don't know where you are. So this kidnapping is a distraction. It's intended to put our government in disrepute, so that, because what I've seen is our opponents, except the new party, especially the new party, is very weak. And all their hopes are in the international community, in the United States, in the European Union. So they are playing to the gallery. They are trying to make the government look bad, and we are on a charm offensive too. So we're going to clash maybe in the European capitals. We're going to clash on public relations. So let's play the game. They're out there. Violence, I don't think so. It's a whimper.
So you don't think there's going to be... So how about people who are really coming out to say, maybe now we should focus on ICC because...
Yeah, they can try, because me as a lawyer, I'm telling you, I have international law and constitutionalism. I've done it. I mastered it. So what I know, there are reasons why they go to the ICC. If something is done with impunity, if the people... To go to the ICC, it must be a crime against humanity. Humanity means you get a certain section of the people. You take a tribe, say the Bakonjo, the Baganda, the Banyankole, so the Muslims or whatever. You take a certain section of the people, you massacre them when they are not armed. They must not be armed. And then you must kill them with impunity. And the people who kill them are not held to account. Once that the international court sees that there is no accountability, and you are targeting a certain section of the people, what they call ethnic cleansing or religious cleansing. Once you are doing cleansing, you are targeting people with impunity, and there is no accountability, then the ICC comes in and is like, what's going on? And the people who are killed must be defenseless. They must not throw stones, they must not throw pipes, they must not use pangas. They must be defenseless what?
How about the indiscriminate killing we've seen over the last, even before the election?
Yeah,
there has killed by the police.
There has not been.
In Arua, the killings in Kampala.
In Arua, there was one person who was killed.
I mean, there have been more than 60 people have died.
There was one person who was killed in Arua. In Arua.
That's even less, I would say.
Okay, there was one person killed in Arua. Then we come November 6th, riots. You see the riots? That was a civil, not actually civil, it was an armed insurrection.
Who was armed?
Once you have anything that can injure a person, actually if I'm driving a car, and a policeman is standing there and I want to ram the policeman, the vehicle is considered to be a dangerous weapon. Okay? So these people who were trying to kill policemen, to kill NRM supporters, to injure the population, once a policeman sees you, say, I am here, I have a panga or a crossbar or an iron bar, and I'm going to hit you, and she's the policeman. She has, if she sees me going to kill you, she will shoot me, and it will be a lawful death, okay? Because it will be in defense of another or defense of self, okay? Once you're in defense of self or in defense of another, that is a lawful death.
So according to you,
yes,
there is no enough incriminating evidence,
yes,
that can be used
to go to the ICC
to present the case against Mr. Yoweri Kaguta.
Exactly. That's why in Kasese, people said 100 people died. The government said 90, 80 people died. And then the case, people petitioned the ICC. ICC came, made the investigation. They found that 18 policemen had died in Kasese and local defense units. The police posts were attacked, and they investigated, they found the army detach was attacked. So they say this was not a massacre. It was a civil insurrection. It was a clash between forces. So there was no way they can come in because it was an attack on the population, an attack on the facilities of state. There's no state in the world that will allow you to attack them and go away with it. So that's why when the verdict of the ICC came out, they said there was no crime against humanity.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, it's interesting to hear different perspectives about, and that's why we are always entitled to our own opinion.
No,
so,
this, hold on a minute. This is not an opinion. This is a fact.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Hold on a minute.
I'm going to give a high chance.
Yeah, she's going to talk. The fact is, the ICC came straight out. If anybody has time, you can Google the ICC verdict on Uganda Kasese killing. The ICC came out with the verdict. This is a fact, that there was no crime against humanity. There was an insurrection. There was war.
Sure.
Yes.
I mean, again, I did not say what you're saying was wrong.
No, you said it's an opinion. It's a fact.
I mean, even facts are relative.
No,
facts
no,
are
no.
relative.
That's what.
Because
unless you're Trump,
you may have.
Hold
you
on.
may have
Unless
subjective
no,
facts.
no.
As I'll give you an example.
Give me.
That a court of law can sit, for example, and choose to either objectively look at the facts presented before it, or subjectively look at the facts. So at the end of the day, there will be facts.
But there
would either be subjective or objective facts.
No, hold on a minute. The fact is the court of law will come out with the verdict.
Yeah,
the ICC came out with the verdict. That's a fact.
Yes.
So once it's a fact,
which is questionable.
it cannot be questionable.
questionable.
Listen.
But I don't want to go into Kasese.
Hold on a minute.
I want us to look at the political
Let me give you an extra.
Yes.
If you are trying to go to the same ICC you went before, then you expect a different verdict. They say anybody who does the same thing, expecting a different result, is something else. I will not say what they are. But once you do the same thing and it fails, and you continue doing the same thing, then that is a problem.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mukasa. I will go to Sarah. Sarah, before I start off, I want you to give us an update about the protest that is going on in Waltham. What is it about, and is it in line with what has been happening, or is something all new?
Good evening, good afternoon again, our viewers. Right, I think it has already started at about 2. We are having a peaceful demonstration at Waltham Square, and we are calling every Ugandan who wants to see change come to Uganda, and who is not happy with whatever they see happening back home, to come out and peacefully demonstrate. Even our friends or comrades who are in the neighboring states, like people in New Hampshire, Maine, yeah, all those neighboring states, they can come down and be part of this demonstration. The demonstration, we are as the diaspora, as people who live in the diaspora, we are demonstrating against the stolen election. We all know very well President Museveni did not win the just concluded election. Even when they've tried to manipulate. Recently, I saw the Electoral Commission came up with DR forms where they indicated that these are genuine. But even on the genuine DR forms, the figures were not tallying. Basically, the real what they called fake was the real one, because when you add up the figures they were tallying, what they did, they reduced Honorable Chagulanyi's vote. Instead of 84, and they gave him 8 votes in that polling station. And when you see, and that's why sometimes I sit back. You know, people who do such things and people who sometimes support Museveni, I don't know how they sleep at night, because I think their souls are really screaming out loud. Because literally, this is one of the elections they really tried so much. I think they had everyone they know, but they've completely failed to come up with a proper math. Because how do you reduce a figure and you don't reduce the other figures so that it makes sense? Yet it's on their website claiming it's genuine. So that's one of the things people are coming out to protest the stolen vote. Everyone knows, even a child, even the unborn know, even the dead know, President Museveni did not win this election. Again, people, we are coming out to protest the abduction. It is not kidnap. They're not missing people. It is abduction. And it is so absurd when the police come up with the certain numbers and say you saw Jojo Dong, really, they came up with a list of what they claim they have. But so many families. You saw yesterday, if you watched the news yesterday, NBS, and I think NTV or NBS, was going back to families whose relatives were kidnapped, but they are not on the list. So what explanation is President Museveni going to give to these people? Because if you say this is what we have, where is my son? Where is my daughter? That's the question you have to answer. Because, and the good thing, these people were kidnapped or they were abducted, either in presence of their loved ones, and people know, because either someone was found at home, picked from home, or picked from the workplace. People know the facts. So we are going to demonstrate also against that, because so many Ugandans have been abducted, and you see what is happening. Sometimes I don't want to blame him, because President Museveni Uganda has so many, states within a state. It's a failed state within states, because there are so many people abducting people. You may find ISO is abducting, CMI, you may find so many SO, everyone is abducting. So they have failed even to reconcile who has who. And he mentioned that, they said, the people are not, you cannot call that an abduction, or it is not abuse against humanity, because they know where the people are. But their families have not been given a chance to see them. Anywhere, in any law in a country where it is allowed to abduct people and keep them, because if someone has done something, because why are you taking this for starters? If they committed a crime, let them be brought out. And the law talks about 48 hours. So you abduct people, and for months they're nowhere to be seen. You will not produce them in the courts of law. And most of them, what have they happened? Some of them are released, and you see how they look like. I've seen pictures of someone with no leg. People have been badly beaten, brutalized. People have lost their manhood. So this is beyond. And I see him justifying here, ICC. You know, when someone stays in power for a long time, because President Museveni is at his worst, and if he's been hiding away everything, if he's been acting smart and hiding away everything he's been doing, at this point in time, the emperor is naked. He's no longer hiding. If it's a monkey, it's on top of the tree, and everyone is seeing whatever is inside. The monkeys are on top of the tree without any pants, and we are watching. So whatever is happening right now is being compiled. And I'm very sure ICC, if they are interested with all the evidence that is going to be submitted to him, they will indict him. But again, we're not going to only depend on ICC. So I'm asking everyone to come out in big numbers. We are at Waltham Square. I know it's winter, but come out for a few minutes. We need to. It's tough, because when our people back home are not allowed to have peaceful demonstrations, because if they come out, even if it's going to be peaceful, you'll see dead bodies. Because President Museveni, anything that because he came by war, he's a rebel. anything that, he does not believe in democracy for starters. Anything that threatens his throne, he wants to kill. Because he's a rebel, all he knows is about killing. So we can, as our people back home, kind of, you know, they can't come out publicly to protest. We are lucky we live in the countries where democracy is respected and human rights. So we will come out because usually our actions do not go unnoticed. Even if we demonstrate and we're not millions, already our impact will be, because if people who are in the diaspora are not happy with what is happening back home, even those that's enough to tell you that what is happening back home is worse. Because the people have been stifled, they cannot speak for themselves, so the people of the diaspora, we are going to help them deliver that message. We'll try, and I think it's happening all over, because I think on 12th March, there's a group that is going to Washington. We need sanctions to be put on Uganda, serious sanctions. A team is working on these sanctions should come with a lot of money, especially money that has been allocated by the U.S. government that goes to the budget of defense in Uganda. It should be, because what does it do? All these guns they are buying, they're using them to kill Ugandans. So, you know, U.S. has better things to do with that money. After all, U.S. needs the money right now. The economy needs to recover. And the money, when it goes to Uganda, one, it buys weapons that kills Ugandans, and it's stolen at the same time. So it's better U.S. keeps its money. And because after it's going to be stolen, it's not going to benefit any Ugandan. So that's why the demonstration is going to happen. Yeah.
Talk about briefly, before I go to Mukasa, talk about the petition that was withdrawn finally. What's next now in Uganda? You know, people are wondering. So, okay, petition bajijeyo, mkoti, you know, msango tegugena kuberawo, civil uprising, civil disobedience. Like what next? Because we are having people in NRM are telling us about the swearing-in ceremony, which is just 2 months ahead. People are already excited and planning. Is there anything there that could?
The petition had to be, you know, when you see from the beginning of Honorable Kyagulanyi, you saw him being in house arrest for 10 days, of which in those 10 days they were not even allowing anyone to go in. And sometimes I see the NRM apologists talking of, oh, he had access. He had no access. We were watching, we were seeing. I don't know where these people I don't know if they live in Mars or which planet. He had no access. Because if he was crying for food, they never, because even within those 10 days, if he had access, they would at least have allowed the ambassador to go in, the ambassador of US. She was denied access. Within those 10 days, that's when Zake was badly beaten. He had no access. So, and again, his lawyers needed to consult him here and there. And remember, that's the time his phones, he was complaining, his phones were off. His phones were cut off deliberately by the telephone companies. So, and people were suffering. People were not able to access internet. And when the case was, the petition was filed, one of the things that kept us who are following it very alarmed is, in any case, I'm not a lawyer, but there are certain things where you don't have to be a lawyer, it's common sense. When you look at the petition of Amama Mbabazi and Museveni, usually previous cases in law set precedent. Evidence or affidavits, whatever it is, was allowed throughout the case. So you cannot say, for Kyagulanyi, you cannot file affidavits or bring more evidence after the filing. Then what precedent was, you know, what is the meaning of the precedent that was set before? So that set us back, and you're like, do they know what they're doing? Because you expect the previous case to set precedent. So I don't think they would have had an issue with that, especially with the timing, the fact that he lost 10 days, he had 5 days. And again, what was happening? Some of the people, you know these people, Museveni and his cronies, I do not know, I do not know what they think. People, some of the affidavits that were had, because every person who signed an affidavit, they would provide with their national ID. You won't believe what they were doing. The moment the NRM the people who are defending Museveni handed on to those petitions. They gave them to the security organs. People who were swearing affidavits were being picked one by one because there was their national ID. They could locate your information about where you are and all that. So I'm like, they are too scared, because if you really want an election, why are you arresting people who are witnesses? Why are you arresting? In fact, not arresting. Why are you kidnapping witnesses? Even as the case has not even yet started. So, and again, what did we see? After the filing, you saw on 3 occasions, someone who is, because this is a panel of judges, but you see someone who is in charge of the entire panel, because he seems like he's the leader. That's Owinyodolo, meeting Museveni on 3 different occasions. One, Museveni meets them, and then he gives, the next day you see them, they've been given cards, salaries increased. He meets, he has a private meeting with Museveni in State House, and that private meeting would never have come to the public domain if the CCTV footage had not been released by the police officer who was arrested afterwards. So, even if it were you and me, if I'm having a case against you, I've taken you to court, but the judge in our case, every evening I see you with him, drinking a beer, laughing. Seriously? Do I think that you're gonna, at the end of the day, give fair judgment? Definitely not. So it had clearly shown that you're gonna have, you're gonna waste time and have a case go through this period of whatever 30 days under a group or panel of judges who have already made up their mind.
I think its goal was to expose the judiciary.
It is, and I don't think the core intention of the petition was to expose. The core intention of the petition was to go through with, and if you had a team of independent panelists who know what they are doing, who are not, dancing, jumping in Museveni's bed every night, you would have had a different story. Because what happens if evidence had been there? People had been kidnapped. There was tampering of the DR forms, and up to now, because it would have been interesting to know exactly where are the percentages the EC declared, where do they come from? If even up to this point, they are putting up on their website wrong information. The DR form, the information they put up in their DR form is wrong information. So it would have been very interesting for us to go through this entire process and get the actual figures and get the actual, because what happens, your EC was giving information in a block. We would want to know the breakdown, because that's what you want to know. You'd want to break down who got what where, so that we do the comparison.
It's a shame that until now we haven't yet got a breakdown.
Exactly.
Of districts. That's
exactly
3 months after the election.
That's not true.
Yes, I checked the website.
What's not true?
We don't have the nationwide.
Yes,
breakdown.
the nation.
There is.
Yes,
there is
not.
There is.
Don't confuse that.
By constituency.
It is blocked.
No, it's a constituency.
They should give polling centers.
Yes.
No. Polling centers.
You can do that.
Like how you do it in America. You know how they do
it. No, even
right?
in Uganda they do it.
No, it is not.
Okay.
Don't argue over things that are not on the website.
I might not be here next week, but we would have started with that, because I've been to the website.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe you.
And I have.
You'll give us a breakdown.
Yes, I have seen constituency by constituency. I have seen it.
Yeah, but people want to see tallying centers.
Yeah,
center.
because that's where the rigging happened.
And for you, Sarah, I want you to give us a picture. What next now?
No, what, and you see, I see he has been here celebrating, oh, we are going to swear in, oh, nothing is going to happen. And you see, they always, I think the team, President Museveni, having come through having come through a war in from 1980 and all that, his mind is so channeled. He's so analog, forgetting we live in a digital era. No one I've been told he carries a cartouche around. He doesn't know how to run around with smartphones. He's so analog that their minds are so fixated. They think whatever is going to happen is someone is going to stand on Kampala Road, Mapira House, and say, now I'm coming. I'll give you an example of what happened on 14th November. They didn't see it coming. And no one knew it was going to happen. Honorable Chagulaji did not, he was arrested from Luka and riots started. They didn't know how to control them, that's why they were killing everyone. I'll give you an example, uprisings that have happened in places where people felt enough is enough. In Southern Sudan, Bashir stole an election and declared himself president with 85%. I'm very sure people who are eating from his hands like Richard were also jubilating and saying, oh, it's done, what are they going to do? What happened? It was a year after. And what caused the rise up in Sudan? It wasn't any politician. It wasn't anything. It was the price of bread. So, as they're jubilating, they should know, you have a biggest percentage of young people in Uganda who have completely lost hope, who have nothing to lose. You've chased them off their land. You saw what happened in Lusanja. All those people, someone who had bought, do they even care? As the government compensated those people, do they even care where they are? So you have a biggest percentage, almost 80% of Ugandans are below the age of 40. But the biggest percentage of those have lost hope. They have no option. They have nothing to lose. They live in a country where they feel their leaders are squeezing blood out of them, that they have nothing left. I am telling you, they thought the plan B, because for us we are not on plan B. Someone else had talking of plan B. Chagulani has been very clear, said our plan is, we are on plan A and our plan A is to remove Mudeveni. They will not see it coming. Whatever is going to take down, if it's going to be an uprising, and uprisings are not staged and managed and planned. No, they are not.
Okay.
And let me finish up for a second. Let me finish up something small. As uprisings are not managed and staged and planned by anyone, you do not know when they are going to happen. And if they do not change the way they treat Ugandans, if they do not, an uprising could start from one of the mothers of the abducted child. It could start from anywhere. Because what have they done? They have destroyed the economy completely. Recently, someone sent me a video of what is happening in Kampala City. All those buildings you used to see, business used to be running in those businesses. Now it's only the lower floor, from 1, 2, 3 top floors. People have deserted them. So you have squeezed Ugandans to the wall. Because Ugandans, you would say, I saw everyone say, oh, the election is over, go back to work. Work where? People cannot afford to pay rent where they stay. People cannot afford to pay rent where they work from. So you will not see it coming. And I'm telling you, it is going to be so bad.
It's going on and on and on.
It is going to be so bad that at the end of the day,
it's not a lecture room.
You're going to see that Ugandans really deserve the change they want.
All right, thank you so much. Back to Mr. Mukasa. How prepared is the NRM to counter any uprising, especially ahead of the swearing-in ceremony of Mr. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni?
Okay.
With all the glaring what has been provided, information. I mean, we can see so many happening on the ground. The drones are still operating. People are still being kidnapped. Families are still, the temperature is high.
I don't want the moderator to have a side.
No, listen.
We are calling it
I was reading an article here in the Monitor that was showing parents who are talking about their missing children.
The children are under arrest.
Their concern
when they arrest, you produce them in court. They are not arrests, they are kidnapped. They are abductions.
The concern from the parents that I'm reading here in the Monitor is that they're not yet worried. They're just not worried about their sons not appearing, but their concern is, where are they?
Yes.
If they're not in prison and the government says they're not on the list that has been provided, where is my son that was taken from his house? So that's the question. And I'm saying, as ahead of this swearing in, how prepared is the country?
Okay, here you go. One, NUP has a lot of katemba. They have a lot of drama. Sometimes people kidnap themselves. Sometimes people make themselves tortured. Somebody will show you, some of them were peasants. They used to dig. and then the whole...
So Ugandans are
can I
torturing...
speak? Can I speak?
Let's give him a
Please
chance.
don't...
Let's give him a chance.
Can I speak?
No,
We'll
I want to give him a chance, but don't...
Can I leave the floor to you?
You can leave the floor,
Okay.
but don't...
speak.
You can leave the floor,
Go ahead.
but don't sit here
You will not stop me.
and
I will
abuse
say whatever.
Ugandans
I will
and
say
claim
whatever I
Ugandans
want to
have
say.
abducted themselves
Let's give
and they are
him time.
torturing themselves.
Let's give him time. You will respond. Someone says if you are, they want to hear, they want to see your face. If you can put up the mask.
He cannot. He
They say
cannot.
they can't hear you well.
Sir, this is my face,
Yeah.
if you want to see.
They say they can't hear you well.
I'm
with
sorry
the mask.
about that. They hear me. If you can hear me, they can
I mean,
hear
I'm with you in the studio.
I know they can hear me. I'm sorry. I'm sure
All
they
right.
can hear me.
All right.
Don't abuse Ugandans.
Right.
No, can you
Go
be
ahead.
People are hurting. People are
Can
having
you be
sleepless
quiet?
nights.
You spoke. You said all your nonsense.
But
I was quiet.
if you're gonna speak,
quiet.
respect people
No,
who
I
have
will
lost their
not
loved ones.
respect nonsense. I will not respect lies.
Let's have
I
order.
will give the facts as I know them.
You have the microphone.
Yes.
Professor. Go ahead.
Okay. What I know is there are a lot of people I have seen. I saw one time Munyagwa before he became councillor he became mayor of Kawempe. He kidnapped himself. We have known so many cases of people kidnapping themselves.
Where?
Because if the government can tell you we have 177 people, what stops them from saying we have 400 or 500? If they say accountability, we arrested this one and this one and this one, we even give the names in parliament, and we account for everybody we have because of a security situation. I know of the cases here in America, people were abducted, whatever, from Afghanistan, all over the world, from here in America, and taken to Guantanamo Bay. And some of them have never seen the face of the court. They have never come out. So when it comes to security, every country has its way of operating. So
what is our way?
Our way is before we investigate, we want to investigate, and there is a case. So many cases have been held in this court here, courts in America, that if there is a clear and present danger and actionable information, the operating officer have a right to make an immediate arrest or a shoot, or they're supposed to shoot to kill to avoid causing massive arrest. If the government has information that someone is going to detonate a bomb, right, and they have actionable intelligence, they will make sure they shoot that person before they even verify. The officers, the government, will have to answer for it, but they will have to act.
Okay, let's go.
So now here I am. When these people, the government has actionable information, these young people were fomenting an insurrection. Okay? They were fomenting an insurrection. If you're fomenting an insurrection, the government acts on actionable intelligence to get you off the street. Okay? And then they can investigate later because there's one.
But even those who are involved in the insurrection in America
I'm taking you to class.
were brought to the courts of law.
Go on.
They were brought to the courts of law.
Can you allow me?
You've abducted people for over 2 months.
I have told you.
And no one knows where they are.
In Guantanamo Bay who have not seen the face of the court. In Guantanamo Bay.
How about those?
There were over 2,000 people in Guantanamo Bay.
Homes? Those are the ones I want to respond
Yes,
to.
people in Guantanamo Bay were picked from their homes.
I mean those in Kampala.
Okay.
Don't bring Montana.
I will.
Speak about the situation in Kampala.
Because I've told you,
have raised
any government in the world, once it has actionable information, a bomb is going off, an insurrection, a rebellion, they will act on actionable intelligence to get the man off the street or woman. Okay? And then after they have investigated, they produce him in court or they let him go.
How many have been produced in court?
So many. I saw 45 in a court martial, which is a legal entity. It's allowed, right? Legally.
The 45 that were found with bullets
Then
without a gun.
we know another 90 who were produced in the courts of law. Okay? So, and some of them were even released on their own recognizances. So, what I'm trying to say is, once government has actionable information, they act on it. So that's one. Two, if me personally, I feel bad for Noop, and because they're minions the people who worked on their behalf. They have the quality of personnel. They need to do some research. Because they come on stage, we can't debate, we only have to shout. Because if you have the kind of information I'm giving here, which the people, it's very helpful to the people.
Give us information.
Because, like I have given you information, that if the government has information, any government, Switzerland which has no army, any government, if it has information that there is somebody fomenting a rebellion, if they have information, somebody is going to detonate a bomb. If they have hold on.
So if I may interject a little bit, the polling agents. The polling agents who were arrested, who were abducted with DR forms, which bomb were they going to detonate?
Let him respond. You gave a very strong point, and I wanted to ask you in regard to that, because you say there is suspicion that, let's say, someone is having
actionable intelligence.
Yes. And my worry and question to you was, the parents who are complaining about their children, they were picked from their houses and homes on suspicion that they were part of the people who are planning to engage into peaceful.
Can I ask and let him answer to me.
Can you stop her?
Answer to me as well.
Can you stop her?
The agents who were kidnapped with DR forms.
You had the question, right?
What bombs were they carrying?
So let him ask.
That's what I said. No people don't have information.
Okay, you've had the question.
They just shout. Okay.
Talk about the agents.
I'm asking you a question. Do you have children?
Yes.
Do you know what they are doing right now?
I mean, it's a very young kid, so I don't know.
Do you know what they are doing right now?
No, they're in the house.
You just in the house. Do you know what they're doing right now?
Well, I can't tell what.
Exactly. So the parents can complain however they complain, because they don't know when their children go out there. They don't know what they do.
No, it was at night mostly.
Yes, but they don't know what.
They came and knocked.
Okay, they came and knocked. But do you know what your children did in the morning or last night or the night before when they went out?
Take the example of Zebra. He's shot from his house. I'm talking about those kind of people that are saying,
listen,
we were in the house.
Hold on a minute. The only case where I hold my government accountable is Zebra. Because even the president took personal interest in that case. He said this guy was shot. He ran from the house. They caught him somewhere, and then he was shot. They're investigating whether, did he fight back? Because he was a muscle man. He was a fighter. Zebra, if you know his history, you'll find out. You can go and dig. First of all, he was an NRM supporter. You know, did you know that? Sir.
But why was he killed?
Can you be quiet?
What did you say?
Did you know that Zebra was an NRM supporter?
I mean, I don't really want to know who.
Yeah, so
what I know, he was a Ugandan.
This is what happened.
And he's entitled.
He was to the due process. He was entitled to the due process. Now, we don't know what happened at the point of arrest. Whether he tried to grab a gun, whether he... But he was shot.
No, why?
Hold on a minute.
Because the question is...
Hold on a minute.
No,
why send
President Museveni described exactly what happened. So don't pretend and lie to people.
He was a gang leader. He was a leader of a gang.
Who had no guns?
You don't know.
Who was not armed?
Do you know?
The wife said that.
Oh, okay. If what do you take the wife? Do you think a wife can testify against her husband?
I mean,
do you know why they
checked his house
in our courts?
But no one even
in our courts of law.
No one found even a bullet shell
in our
in his house.
courts of law. Do you know that they don't allow a wife to testify on behalf of the husband? Yeah. You know why? Because the wife can say anything for the husband.
Anyway, go on.
So what I'm trying to say is that we don't know what happened. So what we should do is demand for an investigation about Zebra.
And no one has been held liable.
Yes, because the investigations are still...
And yet it was clear that he was shot.
Just like the investigations are still going on. Just like the investigations for Kawesi.
So once the investigation...
And Chirumi are still ongoing.
Hold on a minute.
Okay.
He's talking about Kawesi and Chirumi.
No,
who were kidnapped, who were assassinated. They were our supporters.
No, but I'm saying you're talking of investigations as if they are the first investigation.
Because, listen,
there has never been any report.
Listen,
Chirumira was murdered. Kaweso was murdered.
Actually,
so do you expect anything going to come out of Zebra?
The most prominent NRM supporters, Abiriga, Kawesi, Chirumira.
Where are their reports? It's now 4 years down the road.
Assassinated.
By who?
By who?
Can I speak? Can you give me a chance to speak?
Okay, tell us.
So, when you make an investigation, Uganda, the capacity of Uganda to investigate these kind of cases is not way up there. Because on TV, in America, with all the resources they have, I have seen a program called cold case cases. You know why they're called cold case cases? Because they ran cold, they couldn't find who did it. With all the resources America has, 5,000 cases every year are left unsolved. You know what I mean? So there is a possibility they haven't found out what happened. So they can't give you a report. But as for Zebra, because the government said they killed Zebra, so that report, I'm sure it will come out. You know why? Because they did it. They said, yes, we did it. So they are held responsible. They have to explain. They have to tell us what happened. If you can't explain, then somebody must be charged.
And as an NRM member, does this level of impunity offend you as a person?
Listen.
Just objectively, does it, this level
Thank
of
you for asking that question. I love that question. Do you know why I just told you that they must explain? And the president came out and said, Zebra's case, I took personal interest in it. I have to find out what happened. That's not impunity. You know what I mean? That's not impunity.
I mean, the meaning of impunity is you doing something without any remorse.
No,
without
they don't.
any.
They murder,
even
they
when you,
murder kill
when you
people without
tone,
remorse.
What is remorse?
When you listen to the tone,
remorse. Listen,
a repentant heart.
Hold on a minute.
You can know this is
what
a repentant
is remorse?
person.
I want people to listen to me. What is remorse? You give the widow 5 or 50 million.
It's not that.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
Nothing can
remorse, I know.
Nothing can
I know. That's why they gave the widow 50 million.
What was it going to do?
And they
Bring
said,
back the person who is dead?
Can I speak? They gave the widow 50 million. That's the first remorse. The second remorse.
What was the money going to
Why
do?
can I speak?
Okay, let him finish. Yes, finish.
The second remorse is the president said, we are sorry this happened. That is remorse. And we are going to investigate. That is the third remorse. They are trying to find out what exactly happened to the man. Okay? So that is remorse. So how can I say that?
But again, when people who don't support,
what did you say
when people who don't support president,
I said, do you feel like, are you burdened about this?
they are not. You see, when they kill opposition supporters,
okay.
Why the hell?
Finish.
When they kill opposition supporters, they go around saying, we will crush you, we will kill you.
We have a part of hooligans. They cannot listen.
You're the biggest hooligans because you don't use common sense.
Each other,
how can I respect somebody who doesn't respect herself?
Some discipline in the word
she must learn how to respect herself.
Okay.
Listen, I would feel bad if they just killed Zebra and nothing happened. They left him on the street, they picked his body and dumped it in the trash. But they made sure they follow up, and they're still following up. You know what I mean? So that is, I would be burdened if they didn't do anything. Despite them doing anything, I still hold them accountable to explain. Despite the fact that Zebra was a thug, everybody knows it. Okay? He was a thug with a band of thugs who were hitting people with iron bars, crossbars, and taking people's phones, beating up, holding people candle, and all kinds of things. So we know it. But he deserved the due process. He deserved to go before the court of law. He didn't deserve to die the way he died. But if he died that way, we find out how did he die? What happened? You know what I mean?
In a real world, the head of police in that case should have resigned. In a real world, the head of
no, usually
there should be someone.
No, in the real world, the officer who shot is told to step aside.
But who is not known until now?
Yes. Now, because they're investigating to know who killed who, that's when they find out who did what, that's when they will put that person on leave.
When is that going to happen?
Suspended.
Because we don't have...
Yeah, because the president is handling things.
When?
He said he is.
He's been handling Kawesa, Chirumira, or Biliga's case for the last 5 years.
Hold on. I didn't have a chance to respond.
What has Museveni ever accomplished?
Nonsense he should put up.
Okay, respond to one of them.
Yeah, I say...
but try to use the right proper word.
Okay. Most of the things she was saying was too much Wolokoso and conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Like, because once you indulge in these things, your head can easily be messed up. Because we saw people scaling halls of Congress thinking that Trump won and is going to be sworn in. People still believe that Trump is going to be sworn in on the 15th. There's a QAnon conspiracy theory. He will be sworn in on the 16th of March. People still believe he's going to be the president because of that. Now, the other day, yesterday, she was talking about the case in court. Professor Kanye Hamba was one of, because Bobiwine went to him for consultation. Professor Kanye Hamba said yesterday, he was a judge, and is one of the senior counsels in the country. He said the kind of nonsense and evidence and trash that was brought in court, if he was there, he was going to throw it out himself.
But the same Kanye Hamba
is counsel. This guy is counsel for Chagulanyi. He's been counseling him. Okay? So, and then she was talking about demonstration. Demonstrations are good for the soul. Okay? You know, if you have pent-up anger and frustrations, you give up the pent-up energy. So I encourage you, ma'am, because I see a lot of anger here. I encourage you to go to...
There is no anger.
I encourage you to go to the demonstration.
No anger.
I encourage you to go to that demonstration. So you pent up, you let up, you shout.
I don't have any anger.
And you pump your fist up
You're
there.
You're just guilty.
I want you to pump your fist and release the anger and the frustration for losing the election. Because I see a lot of delusions. You are delusional. Now, she was talking about stopping funding for Uganda. You know, there are some people who believe when they are not in government, then that government should not receive funds and they will decampaign Uganda. Let me tell you, the people in government will always be fine. It is the people on the ground.
But still, they've not been benefiting from it.
USAID funds $1 billion into our healthcare system. And that money doesn't go into government coffers. USAID takes it directly to the hospitals down there. So if you're thinking Museveni is eating it, you are delusional. Because that money is taken directly by the US government to the hospitals. Actually, some of that money is going to be given to the GM.
Can you mention some of the hospitals that are beneficiaries of that money? Because all hospitals in Uganda are in a despicable condition.
I mean, General Electric is going to supply units to all the major referral hospitals from that money. They made a contract with Uganda using that money to supply all renal units, all kinds of equipment to all the referral hospitals. So that is part of that money. So if you do campaign, these guys can afford to go anywhere.
I mean, it's no matters of accountability. Yes. No one wishes Uganda bad. It's just because they are seeing the accountability. I mean, I'll give you a picture before quickly I ask you another question. When I was still working as a journalist in Uganda,
can I speak?
You are coming.
Can I speak? Because
we were doing the survey.
Enough time to speak a lot of
We were doing the survey about how many mothers in Uganda can afford a bathing kit. And we were visiting rural hospitals, and most of the hospitals are actually being funded by foreign governments. Through the government of Uganda, they discovered that mothers were still buying bathing kits. If you didn't have a bathing kit,
the mama kit,
yeah, whatever they call them.
It's called mama kit.
Yes. And if you didn't have a mama kit, they were still being turned away. Yes. And how much was it? I think it's what, 15,000 shillings? That's like...
it has never stopped.
They were selling
$6, $7.
They were selling it?
Yes. And the nurses were saying, if you don't come with a mama kit, get away. And in a government hospital, I come from Bulisa, where the level of poverty is high, despicable, right? And a woman who cannot even afford a sanitary pad for their children, they are told to get a bathing kit. And they have to walk for 10 kilometers to the hospital, then get there, tell you, we are sorry, get off the bed because you have no bathing kit. So when you talk about the money being stopped, no one is wishing to see Uganda go down. It is just the desire for the accountability.
Let me tell you about
where
this.
Is this money going?
Let me tell you about this.
And how is it being spent?
Let me tell you about this. The mama kit is supposed to be free.
That's in the real world.
Hold on a minute.
In the real world.
Hold on a minute. How does a mama kit supposed to be free? And it's down at the local health center 3 or 2. And how do you connect that to a government official you want to punish up there? Say a mama.
Yeah, I mean the money, the chain. We're looking at the chain of the flow.
Listen. The mama kit...
You get, you spoke about USA.
The mama kit goes down to the local level. The woman, the nurse at the reception says, hey, government here mwojimanyi, this is what they do. Ebintu tebiriwo twaliddaga. Naye bw'oba oyagala mama kit mutwa gumu n'ekitundu.
That's the accountability.
Yes.
We're talking
now, this woman, the nurse at this local level, this is the corruption down here.
No, but
because she's not.
The fish rots from the head.
She's not going to. Hold on a minute.
Can't rot from
hold
the
on
tail.
a minute.
It can't rot from
Government
the tail.
is not fish.
I'm just giving you an illustration.
And that's what it happens.
Government is not fish.
It is rotten.
Because your head determines what
yes,
the
but government is not fish.
But it is very clear government,
I
would say government is an elephant, but you compare it to fish.
An elephant is even worse.
Yeah, but the elephant does not rot from
an elephant
the head.
can't even touch some of its parts.
The elephant doesn't rot
so
from
it's worse.
The,
but let me ask you a question. I mean, you are the people who are in power.
Yes.
Give us a picture of when is Uganda hoping to have change?
Okay, this is what we know.
Maybe we wait for Muhoozi now, because after Museveni, maybe Muhoozi is coming.
Oh, hold on.
Tell us, what should Ugandans think of?
This is what we know.
Those who want change.
This is what we know. You want change, you must have a critical mass. You must mobilize a critical mass that can allow you to change. The people who are trying to unseat us are not organized. They cannot have a critical mass. Because we fight to make sure they never have it. Because once they have it, the change will come. But they are not capable because they are not organized. They don't have, that's what I told you, that these people have biology. They don't have ideology. Ideology will always beat biology. That's why Biden, at 70-something, 6, 78, he's president, and Buttigieg is holding his underpants. Yeah, Buttigieg is 28 or 32. And Castro is 30 or something. Biden is 86, 70 something. He's the president. Kamala Harris is 48 or something, or 40 or 52. But the 76-year-old is the president. Because ideology will always beat biology. And we have ideology on our side. We will always beat these biological, what do we call it? The biological issues, the people who are using issues of biology to take their...
So in other words, we cannot hope for change.
You cannot have change when you don't...
Until when?
Until they go back to school.
But you within NRM, yes. Are you not worried that you have
we are
this,
not,
you have this elephant
no,
that is
there's
going
no
nowhere?
Elephant. How can
because he's not just ruining the country, but
no,
even you.
No. If you say you're ruining the country, then you have a side, Mr. Moderator.
I mean, I've seen.
Because
I'm a journalist.
there's no... listen.
I don't need to be told.
Listen, me who was there, I'm older than you, I presume. I know where this country...
But you can be older but stupid.
Hey, I know where this country came from.
There are people who are older but stupid.
When there was just a glimmer, when there was power, just power. When we had one power source, the dam, power dam, one. Now we have 40.
But there is a power,
okay?
You know,
we have 40.
You have 40, but the blackout
now,
in Uganda happens every day.
51% of Ugandans have access to electricity.
But you see,
how can you say
you claim you have the dam?
Because what is
the
fundamentals? The fundamentals. What are the fundamentals? The fundamentals is power, water, infrastructure. Look at how many kilometers of roads
how many dams do you have?
40.
40 dams?
Yes.
And only 51%?
Yes.
In 35 years?
We need even more.
No.
Listen.
No, your math.
Yes.
You know why I'm asking you?
My math is fantastic.
No, because your math does not make...
In the first 25 years before we came to power, Uganda had one power dam. In the next 25, we have built 40. The difference is astronomical.
No.
It's phenomenal.
You're not getting what I meant.
First 25, one dam. Next 25, 40.
You're not getting what...
That's phenomenal. It's astronomical.
You
understand what I'm saying?
So what is the purpose? What is the purpose of...
The one power dam that was around was producing 60 megawatts of electricity. Right now we have 2,000 megawatts of electricity.
The question is,
yes.
I may have this quote, right?
Yes.
And you may have the same quote.
Yes, sir.
But I buy it, you buy it at 10 times what I have.
Yes.
Someone was doing an analysis recently and said the southern bypass that Uganda built.
The northern bypass.
No.
It's the most expensive, express.
It
is the most expensive road in the world.
In the UK, the cost of that road, it would be used to do almost 5 of those kind. And one engineer in UNRWA said, because the topography in Uganda is...
What topography?
Okay.
The nature of rocks.
Okay.
I'm just giving a picture of an engineer saying the topography, the nature of the rocks.
That's why these people have ceased to use common sense.
You see, it doesn't matter how developed.
It does matter.
Listen, it doesn't really. When we're measuring success, let's not use the wrong yardstick. Let's use the yardstick of accountability and equality. If you're saying that, let's say Uganda has 40 dams, at what cost have they been built?
And on top of that,
and who has been awarded these contracts? And for how long? Because if we say 25 years, someone
can
say,
I,
well,
can I have a chance?
time,
Can I have a chance? Because I've been quiet for like 10 minutes. Can I have a chance to...
Listen, as far as I'm concerned, they are standard costs all over the world. Okay?
No.
That's one.
Uganda has different.
Okay, one. Two. When you say Entebbe Expressway is the most expensive road in the world, according to who?
No, the UK was doing an analysis.
Oh, according to who?
The UK,
I want you to
online.
I want you to direct me.
Go online.
Listen, I saw the Wolokoso put there by the Wolokoso peddlers. But I go to the World Bank. The World Bank knows this stuff, okay? No, hold on a minute. The World Bank gives us money after analyzing. They analyze our economy and tell us that the cost-benefit ratio, they tell us everything. Before they give us money, they say, you did this, but this is this. We will not give you money here because of this. The World Bank will always, I'll always trust the World Bank, the IMF, and the United Nations, UNDP. But I'll never trust the Wolokoso peddlers out there. So I'm finishing with this. That road, no one has ever said, except the Wolokoso peddlers. Like they said that the Northern Bypass, that the European Union gave us money. You know, European gave us money. We were supposed to have 4 lanes, we built 2 lanes. That was a lie. The European Union gave us money. At that time, there were 250,000 cars in 2007. Today, there are over 2 million cars in Uganda. So they realized they gave us money for 2 lanes, we needed 4. So they gave us more money. So the North people and the FDC, they are like the Pope, you complaining about Catholicism more than the Pope. These people, they complain more than the people who gave us money. The European Union, if they knew we had stolen the money, why would they give us more money?
You're borrowing.
No,
which you have to pay back.
Donation.
We are going to pay back.
No, it was a donation.
In 90 years.
It was a donation.
125 years.
It was a donation.
Once,
hey, the European Union gave us a donation. So why would they donate to people who stole?
But
I mean, they benefit on. So let me have you, Sarah, come in because we are left with 15 minutes. So we're going to divide that. I want you to respond.
On the 15 minutes, you're going to give me 10.
No.
Because, yes.
No, let her do 20. Let her give
and we will divide the 5 because it's been, I have a lot to address.
So talk about his response in regards to the stability of the country. He's given us a very strong picture,
vague, you know, a very vague picture of someone
though he didn't tell us about the Muwonge project,
of someone who is so detached.
We should wait for Muwonge,
someone who is so detached
president.
from reality, and you know, and NRM has so many, you know, it has a group of old men who have ceased to use common sense. Their common sense is so detached. It's so detached. Common sense is not an abuse.
Sir, can you tell her to stop what she's saying?
Yeah, common sense is not an abuse. Common sense. It's not an abuse. It is a word.
It is a delusion. You are trying to deride people.
So when people really lack common sense,
no, you don't have points. So you are just abusing
what
people.
they say, it really takes you. Really makes you wonder if you live in the same world.
Okay, respond.
We've seen the instability in Uganda. It is not, you go to no person right now would want even to go and take holiday in Uganda.
Really? I'm going.
Because that's where you belong.
Yeah, okay.
That's where you have to go. But tell me.
But in this COVID, who's traveling?
No, people are traveling.
No.
People
the airports are empty.
No, people are traveling.
It's only people essential like me. I have a wife out there.
People are traveling.
Nobody got to. I was in New York the other day.
You say it's only essential people like
you? Like me. Like I gotta go
people,
to meet my family.
People
like go to the New York
people
airport.
Are traveling.
Nobody is
you
traveling.
See, when someone sits here,
I told you these people are delusional.
When someone sits here,
that tourism is down all over the world.
When someone sits
she was
here,
talking about
but you wanted to bring Mama, you wanted to bring Mama Awards to Uganda to promote tourism.
No,
and they spent $3 million US.
Who said that? Wolokoso again?
No, you spent $3 million US.
Show us the receipt.
You do not have them. I'm giving you the information.
I don't want people who lie.
They bought Mama Awards for $3 million to come to Kampala.
Prove it.
And you saw Chiwanda.
I told you.
Chiwanda justifying his...
who cares about Mama Awards?
Justifying his reason that they wanted to promote tourism.
Can you show us Chiwanda saying that he paid $3 million?
Mama Awards were paid for $3 million.
Nobody paid for that nonsense, Mama
And
Awards.
the reasons why they wanted to promote tourism.
Nobody cares
so why
about
were,
Mama
if you
Awards.
really cared about COVID and the rest, why are you promoting?
Nobody.
Okay.
And there are things I'm going to bring to your attention.
Let's give him
when I see him sit here and talk of, oh, we have 40 dams.
Yes.
My issue was, and again he added on 51%.
Yes.
If we have 40 dams, why aren't we having 100% of Ugandans with electricity?
Because it's a process.
35 years in power.
It's not a product, it's a process.
35 years in power with 40 dams,
what
as
did
they
you do
claim.
in the first 25?
As
Nothing.
they claim. Can you shut up?
I mean,
you are telling me you are shut up. For
you had a chance to speak, so let her speak as
So,
well.
35 years in power, only 51% of the population
huge.
have power. 35 years.
Yeah, that's huge.
So that is enough, and the most expensive power unit, because surprisingly, Uganda sells power to Rwanda and Kenya. Do your research on those countries at how much they pay for a unit. It is much cheaper than how Ugandans pay for electricity, yet it's Uganda selling to them. So, but it comes down to, we have a country where the president, being the one in charge, hates the country so much. I have never seen in anywhere in my entire life someone as selfish as Museveni. Museveni hates Uganda with a passion. I've never seen Amin. I read about Amin. Amin loved Uganda. He was a dictator who loved his country. Museveni is a dictator who hates his country. Amin, whenever he would see something good for Uganda, during Amin's regime, Amin will never build that 2-lane road for that cost of money. Anyone who would be involved in corruption would be behind bars. Museveni celebrates the thieves. You saw what happened to the Gavi Fund. The likes of Mukula, the likes of Mwezi, they stole money. They are still in government. He celebrates, and those are not the only people. We have so many funds have gotten lost. As we speak now, billions of money were passed for the Lubowa hospital. What happened?
It's being built.
No one is talking about it.
It's being built. That's why you're quiet. You would be shouting on the rooftops.
No one is talking about it.
If there was no hospital, you would be shouting.
So much money has disappeared left and right. And he has been talking of, it's the poor people that are going to suffer if donations are cut off. Ugandans, don't be lied. You're not going to suffer. It is because all the money, most of the money that comes in is either stolen by Museveni and his cronies, a few group of people who steal this money. There is no way, because you've said you did your research before you went to Uganda, you left. It has not changed. All hospitals in Uganda right now, just now in Mulago, before you say doctor consultation, is 50,000 shillings. Because Mulago, Uganda owns now 5%. And this was from a report of the members of parliament who went to Mulago.
That's a lie. Stop lying on TV.
I'm speaking from members of parliament who went to do a research in Mulago. 95% of Mulago hospital does not belong to Uganda.
You're a liar.
Just like Entebbe Airport.
Stop lying.
Uganda as a country owns less than 10% of it. No, do your research. Do your research, you do not know.
Bring your report and show it to the people.
Mulago Hospital, Uganda as a government only owns 5%.
I've not heard Chagulanyi, member of parliament. Why didn't he introduce it?
So, no.
Because he knows it's a lie. Your boss knows it's a lie. He can't even present it.
It is not a lie.
It's a lie.
Members of parliament on the accounts, on the public accounts committee.
Okay.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Members of parliament.
He's fighting for this small money. You know the small money, the mobile money tax and the
You know,
social media tax?
someone is-
Why doesn't he fight for the airport, Lake Victoria, which was sold, Kalangala that was sold? Why doesn't he fight for the big issues? He's fighting for small social media tax.
You know, someone
he's
here
fake.
is,
Then you guys are fake.
Someone
Either
is
your boss
mentioning here.
fake, or you guys are fake.
Surprisingly, someone is mentioning here. Did you host someone who is drunk?
Yes.
And because to the public,
Yes.
that's how you're coming
Because
across.
you are lying.
So
I've
Mulago
never had so many lies in one session
people
on
coming,
TV.
people are coming to Mulago and paying 50,000
That's a
shillings
lie.
in consultation because you don't go to Mulago.
I was in Mulago.
You don't go to
I
Mulago,
took
so keep quiet.
my grandmother to Mulago.
Keep quiet.
You go to IHK maybe.
No, I took
you
her
don't
to
go to
Mulago
Mulago.
Cancer Institute. It
So,
is the best cancer institute in East and Central Africa.
Yet you take cancer patients are going for chemotherapy in Nairobi.
No, that stopped a long time ago.
Okay,
So
wind up, Sarah.
let me
as
speak.
we,
I'm not. I think I need more time because.
Yeah, give her more time to lie.
When you see people in hospitals, that's why I was telling you, Ugandans as per se are not going to suffer because the money has been ending up into the hands of Museveni and his cronies. You see the donations and handouts Museveni is giving to whoever pleases him or whoever his claims supports him. How much money went around elections by buying off people who are supporting Chagulanyi? Everyone, you know, how much money you pay this one 500 million, you pay this one 300 million. Because, you see, Ugandans are not going to suffer. So Ugandans should not even worry. Because, first of all, look at what happened. If Ugandans are going to suffer, there are organizations that have been largely involved with local-based community organizations, just like the DGF, that was completely, you know, wiped out in Uganda by Museveni because, and surprisingly, the DGF has been funding some of the government, you know, projects. But because President Museveni hates anything to do with democracy. So those are what, at least if I'm saying, the people who are working or who are working in projects that were funded by DGF are going to suffer because about over 10,000 people are going to lose jobs. So Ugandans should understand that, you know, all these donations that have been going to be cut off are going to affect Museveni in a big way. One thing you must understand, because they will have now, what is maybe going to come down to is the taxes in Uganda. But how many people pay taxes? You saw it's only about 1.3 million Ugandans out of 45 million Ugandans. 1.3.
Because the population is young, the majority
No, it is.
are in school.
It cannot.
The majority
who
of
is
Ugandans
at school?
are in school.
Who is
they
at
are
school?
school-going children because the population is very young. Majority of Ugandans, 25 million, are below 15. So how are they going to pay freaking taxes?
So let's speak.
You have your
every
facts
year
on your fucking fingers.
Let's watch our language.
Let's use common sense again.
Yeah, common sense says
how many graduates come out of universities?
They are not
year?
a million. They are 400,000.
How many graduates have come out from school?
There are 400,000 courtesy of the NRM university.
Since Museveni came in power.
Yes.
Do you know how many Ugandans are jobless on a daily basis?
Yes.
Every time the government,
every
year,
they do have
their graduations. Because if Ugandans had jobs, we are talking of those who are able to pay taxes. Those who have jobs will be able to pay taxes. So those who are working, who are able to earn an income and pay taxes are only 1.3 out of the 45 million people. At least you would have had, at least with the population, for the last 35 years, you would have had at least a total of 10 million people, at least paying taxes.
I know you're poor with math.
The best they are going to do is to squeeze the little money that comes in, come up with more taxes, frustrate Ugandans, so that, they can milk that. But we are working, because it doesn't make any sense allowing donations of funding coming in. One, they're using it to buy tear gas and kill Ugandans, and two, they're stealing the money. Let's stop the steal. You know, when you want to tame down a dictator, take away all the monies they've been collecting from all the other countries. Because after all, US giving money to Uganda, that is my tax money. That's the tax I pay. It really so hard for you to see.
As you're winding up, I want you give us your words of encouragement to the Ugandans out there who are optimistic for change.
Ugandans back home, they must know, Museveni cannot be president forever. Museveni is 76 years old. Museveni does not have another 30 years, 20 years. Museveni is not going to be president. Museveni is not going to be president forever. Museveni is going to go. And you see, Museveni has killed you see, even NRM as it is, It is so destroyed as an institution that the only person holding it is Museveni. After Museveni, there will be no NRM, I can tell you.
We will be here.
Even people in NRM will not allow Muhoozi to lead Uganda.
Don't speak for us, speak for yourself.
Even people, because there are so many people in NRM who are very unhappy. First of all, with the lies of President Museveni, every time changing goalposts, every time changing goalposts, every time changing goalposts. There are so many. Some are there because they can still feed and eat. But for Ugandans out there, you must know, you know, there are so many countries that are like us, where and they've overcome. So many countries have overcome, and they didn't know, you know, they would ever see change. Countries like Southern Sudan, like Sudan, countries like, you know, like the likes of Tunisia, all those are countries. They've been able to overcome. South Africa at one point also had to overcome. We are going to overcome. Museveni will one day be history. So we should not give up. The fight should continue. The likes of him, these are going to vanish. Tomorrow you'll not even hear of them. You'll forget that, because he's not the only one. I'm telling you, the people who have spoken for NRM who have, you know, been disposed of, he's not the best speaker of NRM, because after all, he speaks from a place he's very emotional. He speaks from, he's non-informed, and I wonder, you know, he speaks with out of energy, maybe be hoping when he goes back to Kampala he's going to get some money, because they, you know, they all depend on, okay, what can I get from there? And so trust me, if he's in Kampala, don't be surprised when you see him sneaking around State House in Kampala wanting to see Museveni. And the only time they sneak there because they want envelopes.
All right.
So, and they do not, they do not.
In 30 seconds.
No, they do not care about Uganda, so we should know change is going to come. Let's keep pushing on. And for those who are asking what is next is we don't have to give up right now. It is, yes, the election has been stolen. We are not going to stop demanding for our victory, and we're not going to give up now. When you give up now is when you keep quiet and say, you know what, you know, because I think Ugandans have been operating in a space whereby Museveni has done so much harm to us, and we left him, you know, all the time. They stole the election from Besigye 3 times. Even former Chief Justice Kanyehamba talks about it. That I think in 2011, remind me of the time, when it was very sure they were supposed to cancel the election, but some of the judges, and again, briefly, I'm going to say, it is so absurd that we have, when you see we have a judiciary that has been compromised and they have no integrity at all. And for the judiciary in Uganda, the things they need to ask themselves, you went to school, went through law school, went through LG, you know, whatever you went through, or that person went through school, for your integrity to be compromised as a man. That's why you see some of them after they retire, they cannot even be employed anywhere because their integrity and their names have been soiled.
Thank you so much. And before you wind up, people are saying you have to apologize for calling you people minions. I don't know who you refer to as minions. I think
I will not apologize. I will not apologize. They called us stooges. She's called me over 10 names. Is that hold on a minute. And I will continue calling them minions. Okay, she says she loves Uganda more than we don't love Uganda. You know, she thinks she's more patriotic than us, and that we in this for the money and whatever. You'll be very disappointed. We are in for real. We are in for the love of Uganda. But they say patriotism is a refuge of scoundrels. That is Mark Twain. He says patriotism is a refuge of scoundrels. So I presume you're scoundrels because you think you will bask yourself in the flag of Uganda, and you make other people not patriotic, and you say how Amin was patriotic after destroying the whole country, and everybody knows that except those who are not informed. Okay.
Just like Museveni has destroyed
bad
Uganda.
for NOP and its minions again, because of the quality of nonsense is even lower than I expected. Hey, how can you start saying that 40 dams are nothing when you had one dam barely flickering? It was like a candle in the wind. Now we have 40 power dams, the fundamentals, the infrastructure, the roads, 5,500 kilometers of paved roads. And because of the kind of nonsense and the lies, humongous lies, because they lie like Trump. Most of the lies
so who is benefiting from the 40
lies
dams?
Like Trump lies. Because that's why people refuse to vote for you. You go out there and say things that are not on the ground. People didn't vote for you.
So who voted for you?
People voted for us. We are in power.
And up to now, you cannot produce the DRR forms. You cannot produce the DRR forms of those who voted for you.
Why not? Let's go.
Okay. So she's talked about taxes, that 1.3 million people pay taxes. Yes, there are sections of the population we are trying to boost, and they make a lot of money, like farmers. Farmers are making a lot of money because coffee makes over $500 million a year. Cocoa makes about $60 million. Cotton makes about 60. Tea makes about 120. All these are farmers. Fish makes 160. So all these are farmers, right? Milk, exported milk was coming to about $80 million. So what does that mean? There's a section of the population that does not pay taxes, okay? Not because they are not able. It's because it is intended to build. It's like giving a tax break here. They give tax breaks to businesses and small businesses. So the farmers have a tax break in Uganda. They don't pay taxes. And the World Bank is saying that there are people out there who are making a lot of money. Like somebody has 1,000 cows, another one has 500 Frisian cows, and he's making $1 million shillings a day. Why doesn't that person pay taxes? And the person who is has a small shop is paying taxes, and he's making like 200,000 a day. The other one makes $1 million, doesn't pay taxes. You see what I mean? So that's why the tax base is still low. Then she was talking about the malls being empty and whatever. The economies have been destroyed. I've been downtown, there's nothing. Go to the airports, go to the hotels, they're empty in America because COVID has destroyed everything. But because she's not informed, she's telling us how people are traveling. I was at the airport the other day, okay? Like the airport is empty. Empty, completely empty. It's like a ghost town. Did you watch the movie The Walking Dead?
I don't think I've watched.
Okay, you should go watch. America, the airports are like the Walking Dead movies. It's hollow. You walk out there, it is empty. So when you see the empty malls in Kampala, it's because of COVID. The economy is limping. Every economy is limping. 20 million Americans have not gone back to their jobs. They did before COVID, okay? So that doesn't mean that, that Uganda is unique. It is a situation that is happening all over the country. Okay, now...
and I heard you speak about Muhoozi. I don't know why you brought Muhoozi.
Okay, Muhoozi,
why did you bring Muhoozi?
She was telling me, she was saying that Museveni is going to die. I told him, yeah, we have a right to bring in anybody we want. We can bring in Muhoozi. He was saying, Banyakole will never come back to power, blah, blah, blah. I said, whatever. We are the majority. We are the silent majority. They make a lot of noise. We don't. Because we know what we are organized.
You're the silent majority.
We know what we're
doing. People.
Yes. We know what we're doing. We don't have to go.
You're the weakest link.
Right.
Because the only thing protecting you is the gun.
We can't go to the rooftops like you.
The only thing protecting you is the gun.
The weak people.
Because if you're strong, you would let democracy take its course.
They cry wolf every time. You cry wolf every time. That's why people don't take you seriously. You will never get power.
In your final parting remarks,
yes,
in 30 seconds.
Yes, sir.
Talk about the families that are missing their dear ones.
Yes.
As an NRM person, are you concerned?
Yes, I am.
He's not. He said those people are kidnapping themselves.
For me.
And they are torturing themselves.
Not speak for me.
Tell us.
Okay. All the families that have children, I heard the president speaking. He said most of these kids were misled. And the gang leaders who did the stuff will be taken to court. These young people will be misread, will be rehabilitated. That's what the president said. He said the people you have. Now, those people who have their children that were not mentioned on the list should look into the fact that some of them are in hiding because their friends were already, say we are comrades, we work together. And we were doing mischief together. So when they arrest me, you expect they're coming for you, right? So you hide. Some of them are in hiding. Okay?
So they've been hiding for 3 months.
Yes, some people hide, yeah. I remember this operation which they did killing thieves in 2000, was it 2 or 3?
Wembley.
Yeah, Wembley. People ran to South Africa. 20 years, they've never come back.
So
Anyway,
if I may, excuse me.
Thank you very much,
So
guys.
if I may mention,
We have to
the
leave
parents whose children were picked from the houses, and
according to Mr. Mukasa,
according to
who
them,
is
the children are in hiding.
Yeah.
He's the spokesperson of NRM.
Yeah,
in
he's the
Boston,
spokesperson
so
of NRM. So drones came,
He has-
picked people from their families with their family members watching. So they are in hiding.
Those are on the list.
No, they are not.
They are.
They are not.
How do you know you are here?
No, I'm speaking from the interviews that
No,
happened
they are not
yesterday.
here. Some of them are pretenders. I know Ugandans pretend. You think I don't know the games they play?
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes.
Thank you, lady, for being here and giving us your different views. We really appreciate your time and the sacrifices you make to be here and to speak to Ugandans. I want to encourage you Ugandans out there to start praying for your country. Keep praying for your nation. Pray, for the love, for the sanity, for the peace of God that surpasses human understanding. I love what my Bible tells me about the plans God has for us. In Jeremiah 29:11, it says, I know the plans I have for you. God knows the plans he has for Uganda. He alone knows what he is up to with whatever is going on. So let's pray that his will be done in our country. And wherever you are, stay strengthened, stay strong, knowing that God has a plan for our country. Be blessed and have a wonderful week ahead.